Here are 28 names and 7 defenses for you to consider adding to your fantasy football roster before Week 6 kicks off, including recommendations for whether or not you should spend waiver wire priority on that player or simply add them to your bench for free after waivers process. What is up, my friend? It's Mikey Henninger from Basement Brewed Fantasy Football, and in today's mini episode of Inside the 20, episode 41, we are going to run through several names that are on my Week 6 waiver wire cheat sheet. That's a free resource that I give away for free. You can find it using the link that we left for you in the show notes. And on that list, you're going to find not only recommendations for players and defenses to add to your Week 6 fantasy football roster, but also notes and recommendations on whether or not that player is worth spending waiver wire priority or simply waiting and trying to add them for free after the waiver wire runs. The reason I do it this way is because one of the biggest mistakes that I see fantasy football players make is that they burn waiver wire priority, they burn blind bidding dollars on players that are nothing more than deep bench stashes for them, when in all likelihood, they probably could have just waited for waiver wires to clear, and then just add that player for free. So if you want the list, again, it's in the show notes below. It's completely free. Feel free to grab it. There's 28 names. There's 7 different defenses for you to consider adding. But without further ado, let's jump into some of them right here. Rico Gathers set new season highs across the board in Week 5. He handled 22 touches for 114 scrimmage yards and 1 touchdown, scoring 19.4 PPR points along the way. Meanwhile, backfield mate Ezekiel Elliott was left in the dust, handling just 6 touches in Week 5, meaning Rico Gathers is the unquestioned RB1 in Dallas moving forward. He's currently available in 44% of Yahoo leagues, and if he's available in yours, he is every bit worthy of waiver wire priority in Week 6. Darnell Mooney has 6 or more targets in each of the last 4 games, including 16 targets in Week 5. He scored 14 or more PPR points in 3 of the last 4 games, including more than 31 PPR points against the Buccaneers in Week 5. He is available in 52% of Yahoo leagues, and if he's available in yours, he is every bit worthy of waiver wire priority in Week 6. Meyers has 9 or more targets in each of the last 3 games, including 19 total over the last 2 games combined without Davante Adams, which is noteworthy considering Davante Adams might not ever play another down for the Las Vegas Raiders again. Meyers should absolutely be rostered in near 100% of leagues, and yet on Yahoo, he's available in 46% of leagues. So if you can picture him in your starting lineup in the near future, then he's every bit worthy of waiver wire priority in Week 6. By the way, Jonathan Brooks is available in 35% of Yahoo leagues, and he should be rostered in much closer to about 100% of Yahoo leagues moving forward. Give it a look, see if he's on the waiver wire in your league, and if he is, change that. We're about 1 season too early, but at last, it's Tank Bigsby season. In Week 5, Tank Bigsby actually played more snaps. He played about 40% of the offensive snaps, which was more than Travis Etienne, who played 38% of the offensive snaps. Bigsby handled 14 touches, including 1 target and catch for 129 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns, aka 25.9 PPR points, compared to just 12 touches for 60 scoreless yards for Travis Etienne. Tank Bigsby now has 219 scrimmage yards over the last 2 games alone, and he is starting to look like a standalone RB3/flex option who has gigantic upside if anything were to happen to Travis Etienne. He is every bit worthy of a waiver wire priority and a waiver wire claim if you can picture him in your starting lineup within the coming weeks. Are you a software wizard? A code ninja? A Forgemaster? Or maybe even just a mad scientist? Then come build your career ladder with Infinity Labs, an award-winning technology company, best place to work, and business of the year with best-in-class benefits and compensation. Visit i-labs.tech. That's i-labs.tech today, where you can learn more about Infinity Labs, our expanding national presence, and why the status quo has no hold on us. In his first game as the Dallas Cowboys interim wide receiver 2, while Brandon Cooks has a short stint on a 4-game injured reserve list, Jaylen Tolbert had quite a night in Week 5. He caught 7 of 10 targets for 87 yards and a game-winning touchdown, aka 22.7 PPR points. He has a great matchup and a probable shootout with the Detroit Lions on deck in Week 6, followed by a bye week in Week 7, but then several nice matchups with the 49ers, Falcons, Eagles, Texans, and Commanders in the weeks that follow. It's not entirely out of the question that Jaylen Tolbert is able to impress enough to take over as the team's wide receiver 2, while Brandon Cooks really hasn't done much with that role over the last 2 seasons. If you can picture Jaylen Tolbert in your starting lineup in the coming weeks, then he's absolutely every bit worthy of waiver wire claims and waiver wire priority. Rookie running back Bucky Irving has 11 or more opportunities in each of the last 3 games, and there's big-time upside there if anything were to ever happen to Rachaad White. He should absolutely be rostered in more leagues than he currently is. Tucker Kraft is a sliver of hope at the tight end position, garnering 14 targets, 10 catches, 141 yards, and 3 touchdowns, aka over 42 PPR points over the last 2 games combined. And now the Green Bay Packers have nothing but question marks at the wide receiver level, with Christian Watson dealing with an ankle injury, Romeo Doubs at odds with the team. There's plenty of question marks about who is going to be catching passes from Jordan Love in the next coming weeks. And in the next 4 games, the Green Bay Packers could find themselves in shootouts with the Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Detroit Lions. I'm not rushing to the waiver wire. I'm not burning any sort of significant priority on Tucker Kraft, but he's absolutely every bit worth adding as a bench stash or as a streamer option once waiver wires clear on Wednesday morning or whenever your waiver wire runs. It's not sexy like it was back in 2015, but 33-year-old tight end Zach Ertz is going to be on the plug-and-play streamer radar for those of you in a pinch at tight end in Week 6. He was every bit involved with the Commanders' offense in Week 5, garnering 8 targets, and in Week 6, he has a great matchup and a probable shootout with the Baltimore Ravens in Week 6. He's not somebody I'm rushing to the waiver wire to grab. I'm not burning any sort of waiver wire priority on him, but I do have a few leagues where I intend to wake up early on Wednesday morning after waivers process and add him to my bench for free. If you're in a pinch at tight end, take a look at Zach Ertz in Week 6. Wale Robinson now has 8 or more targets in 4 of 5 games this season, and he has some likely pass-heavy games coming up against the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 6 and the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 7. He's rostered in 53% of Yahoo leagues, making him available in about half of the leagues that are out there, and he's every bit worth at least rostering in fantasy football leagues. He's not necessarily somebody that I'm rushing to the waiver wire to grab. I don't see myself burning any sort of waiver wire priority on Wale Robinson, but he's absolutely the type of player that I'm waking up on Wednesday morning, checking to see if he's still available, and if so, I'm adding him to my bench for free. And just to be clear, if there's a scenario in your league, if you're in a deeper league or you're hurting at wide receiver and you can see yourself putting Wale Robinson in your starting lineup at any point in the next 2 weeks, in that case, he's definitely worth waiver wire priority. Generally speaking, if anybody could be in your starting lineup, they're worth that priority. Dontavian Wicks is somehow still available in 34% of Yahoo leagues, and that's something that needs to change ASAP. For starters, there's a lot of uncertainty with the Green Bay Packers pass catchers right now. We have Christian Watson dealing with an ankle injury. He could be out for the next 1 to 3 weeks. We have Romeo Doubs, who has issues with the Packers coaching staff. He's frustrated with his role. There's no obvious sign that he will be back in Week 6, although I think he will. And Dontavian Wicks himself has 20 targets in the last 2 games, and now the Green Bay Packers have a mouth-watering schedule coming up for wide receivers. They have great matchups and great shootouts with the Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Detroit Lions on deck. Now, Dontavian Wicks is most likely not available in your league, but he's available in 34% of Yahoo leagues, and you should definitely check to see if he's on the waiver wire, and if he is available, change that. By the way, as I'm recording this episode, I get a text message from one of my very best friends on the entire planet, Mr. Jordan Poggle. Jordan is a fitness coach. He's a fitness trainer who I have worked with in the past. He's helped me lose 11 pounds basically by accident. I've lowered my blood pressure. I've lowered my cholesterol. And I just found out a promotion he is running in his business where it's basically buy 3 months of coaching with him and you get 1 free. So you're getting 4 months of coaching for the price of 3. This is not a paid promotion. I don't make a single penny off of putting this in this episode. This is just a friend trying to help a friend and myself trying to help you. If you're the type of person who's considering working with a fitness coach, you're looking to get in the best shape of your life, you're looking to get in the best headspace of your life, I cannot recommend working with or at least knowing Jordan enough. I'm going to leave his LinkedIn link in the show notes below. If you want to get in touch with him, just send him a connect request and let him know that you heard about him from Mikey, from Basement Brewed Fantasy Football. He'll know exactly what you're talking about. Take advantage of that offer because I know he doesn't do that sort of thing often. Again, this is not a paid promotion. It's just something I wanted to put in here because I think it could help you and it could help him as well. That's going to be all for today's mini episode because I got to go get my kiddos off the school bus. But like I said, there is a link to a free resource in the show notes that has 28 different players, 7 different defenses for you to consider adding to your fantasy football roster before week 6 kicks off, including notes, including recommendations for whether or not that player is worth spending waiver wire priority or just waiting until they clear waivers and trying to add them for free after. Again, the list is all yours, completely free. Just use the link that we left for you in the show notes. The next time you see me will be Friday at noon Central, where I'll be going live like I do every Friday at noon Central to talk Week 6 fantasy football. So grab your lunch, gather all of your Week 6 fantasy football questions, drop them in the comments, and let's work through them together. Again, every Friday, noon Central, live on the Basement Brewed Fantasy Football YouTube channel. I will see you then. I will see you on the fantasy football field. Cheers. This brew's for you.